There are two non-negotiables, one for each gender, that I guarantee if you do these, your relationship will fail. And for the man, that's if you care too much for the girl emotionally. It's okay if you care physically. I say emotionally on purpose because you can care too much physically by buying her more gifts, by, paying the rent and anything. There's endless physical things. But emotionally is where you don't want to step in that territory. And for a woman, that's going to be disrespecting your man. Consistently. I say consistently because you could disrespect him once and he'll put you in your place. But if you do it consistently, that's when he's gonna leave. Because there's disrespect stems to multiple different reasons on why a man would leave. It's not just solely disrespect. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Julian Puche. And I would say about 8 years ago, I became obsessed with three things: fitness, self-improvement, and relationships. And when I mean obsessed, I mean I've watched all the videos that could possibly be posted upon these three topics. I've read thousands of pages of books. I've became so obsessed with it. It became like my whole life, which is how can I become the best person in a relationship? Why are some relationships so much more successful than others? There's so many questions I just wanted to answer. So I just found out the answers myself. And also fitness, I mean, everyone needs to be fit. Do I look big right now? Maybe. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. No, just, I just became really obsessed with those three things. So the point of me starting a social media page would be to give that information out to people that they can learn in a minute, in 10 minutes, that it took me years to learn and years to acquire all the knowledge. I want to start off this video by saying you could find 100 different reasons, 100 different keys to what makes a great relationship. But my three are backed on all the books I read, all the videos I've watched. And I guarantee if you look at any great relationship, they will have these three things. And the first pillar would be honest communication. I say honest communication because that has much more to do than just communication. Because you can communicate not the truth. That's still communicating. You can tell someone what you think they want to hear, and that's still communicating. Honest communication, it's combination with honesty and communication. It's just honest communication. That's one of my main pillars. Second one would be dating. And I don't mean dating as in, you date someone before you marry them, you date someone before you become official. I mean dating as in you have to continue to date your partner through the entirety of the relationship. And I say this because if you don't, this leads to boredom. And boredom leads to falling out of love. And that leads to breaking up. So dating, and lastly, acceptance. Social media has portrayed an image that there's one person out there that is designed for you and made for you. And exactly the person you want, that's the person they are. First of all, that is not true. Second of all, if it was true, there are 8 billion people on the planet. If there was one person out there for you, the chances of you finding that person are 0.00000 add a million more zeros, 1%. So the fact that people believe that there's one person that will act exactly how they want them to act, that will love them exactly how they want them to love them, it's delusional. So by acceptance, this is accepting the fact that the person you're going to marry, there's going to be things about them that, you probably would want them to change. So there's going to be things about them that aren't the best qualities. But what I guarantee is they care about you more than anyone else in the world. Now, we just touched on boredom. Let me dive into that real quick before I give you guys the real dams. Boredom is probably like one of the top reasons relationships ultimately fail. But what causes boredom? First of all, boredom, let's go back a little bit. Boredom is falling out of love. This is when people say, oh, we just fell out of love. No, they just got bored and they don't know why they got bored. They don't know how to solve the reasons they got bored. So boredom it's falling out of love in disguise. That's what people call it. Now, what is boredom? Well, boredom stems from many things, but the main two would be lack in mental stimulation and lack of purpose. Like thinking that there's no direction, that the relationship is headed in no direction. So what is lack of mental stimulation? Hold on, let's pass this thing real quick. So what is lack of mental stimulation? But this basically, to sum it all up, it's us as humans, we're designed to want a challenge. Our brains want to solve that puzzle. Our brains want to beat that game. So when you feel like there's no more challenge in the relationship, that's when boredom starts to creep in. And what is a challenge in a relationship? Well, think about it like this. In the honeymoon phase, you're showing your partner the best sides of you. You're showing your partner, this is how I act, this is who I am. And the whole time during the honeymoon phase, you're giving them all the good and you're trying to win them over, make them love you. That this is your challenge, making them see how valuable, how amazing you are. Now, how do you solve this? Like, okay, Julian, we get it. We have to make sure there's a challenge all the time. Well, this is why one of my pillars was dating, because you want to continue to date throughout the relationship and continue to try to win them over, even though you're together. Now, the second reason to why boredom creeps in would be lack of purpose, like no direction in the relationship. I want you to think about this for a second. Has there ever been a time where you're scrolling on TikTok or scrolling on Instagram and you're just sitting there and you're like, why am I doing this? Like, you get bored of scrolling. Like, why am I wasting my time? That's pretty much the same thing. You're in the relationship and you're like, why am I doing this? And to prevent this from happening, this is why I say you have to continue to date throughout the relationship to have boredom not even come into the equation. Dating throughout the relationship will cause boredom to not be a problem at all. No purpose, no direction. This is where planning dates, planning big events like trips, planning anything, something that you guys can look forward to, gives it purpose. Oh, we need to be ready for this because of this. That's how you solve purpose. You give it a reason. So we kind of touched up on why relationships fail. What makes a relationship great? Why do some old couples find it so easy to stay together for 50, 60, 70 years? That's because, well, back then, well, I wouldn't say old couples, because it was different back then. Back then it was, once you get married, there's no divorcing. You're with your partner. Okay, so let's go to like this current generation. Why are people together for 10, 20 years when social media has made it almost impossible to stay loyal, almost impossible to feel like there's no other options? Because social media has portrayed that you have endless options just because someone likes your post, someone likes your story. The reason so many people stay together is because they have their own lives. A lot of times we think just because we're with someone, we have to text them every day, we have to call them every day. When in reality, all that does is just set you up for failure. Now, how does that set me up for failure? If I love them, wouldn't I want to see them every day? No. Think about this like a businessman real quick. When the demand is really high and the supply is really low, the demand being the attention you want and the supply being the attention your partner can give you, when you guys meet up, it's going to be an unreal experience because you're demanding, you want to see them so badly, and they don't have enough time to give you. So when you do see them, it's amazing. It's like, I miss you, I love you, I haven't seen you in forever. But when the supply is really high and the demand is really low, when you see them every day, when you talk to them every day, text them every day, but the demand is low, I mean, you don't necessarily miss them so much because you talk to them every day. So how could you miss them? When that happens, the quality of the relationship goes down because you're forcing supply when the demand is low. No one wants the product. So you're not craving the attention, but he's still giving you attention. She's still giving you attention. So if I'm out of breath, it's because I'm on a walk. Daily walk. Check out the sunset real quick. How do I flip this? Looks pretty sick. All right. Where were we? Oh yeah, supply and demand. So what you want to do is keep the quantity, the amount of times, the quantity in your relationship, the amount of times you see each other, talk on the phone, low, but keep the quality high. And this doesn't just mean like, oh, I can't text him today because I can't text her today because I don't want to seem like I'm bombarding her with my attention. No. The quality doesn't just mean you scarce it out. Quality means when you talk to them, there needs to be a reason. That brings us back to purpose. There needs to be a purpose for you guys to talk on the phone, for you guys to text. When you just text them just to text them, that's when boredom starts to creep in. That's when people think they fell out of love because they have nothing to talk about. It's not that you have nothing to talk about. It's just you talk so much that you know everything about each other. And to prove my point even further, I have a friend who has been with his girlfriend for 3-4 years, I think 3, because he's a senior right now in college, and they're both full-time students, both have full-time jobs. How do they manage to stay with each other when they rarely see each other? Well, they plan once a date. So the purpose literally brings in purpose. They plan a date, something to look forward to. But when they do go on the date, there's nothing they say no to. You want ice cream? Yes. You want to do this? Yes. The quality of the date is unreal. I think he's telling me, like, on average, they spend like $1,500 a date, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. And I'm not saying it's about money, but I'm saying the quality of the date is so high, probably the highest you can go, that the quantity doesn't need to be as high also. So him seeing his girlfriend once a month, but making sure that it's the best date she'll find. If she can go on a date with another guy if she wanted to, I'm not saying she does, but the quality won't even come close to the quality of the date he gives her. That's how they're able to stay together even though they see each other once a month. Now, transitioning into this real quick, I want to touch on this. If you ever feel like, damn, the relationships I get into are shit, they just suck. Any girl I get with, any guy I get with, they just suck. Well, literally, the type of relationship, the relationships you get into, the guy or girl you attract, is a direct reflection of where you're at in life. It is so true when they say you're going to attract, you attract. That's what you do. You as a human attract people on the same plane as the same field of where you're at. So if you don't like the type of relationships you get into, it's a big sign of where you're at in life. And it's a big sign of, it's a reality check on, damn, I need to get my life straight. I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life. I need to figure out why I'm doing what I'm doing with my life. Basically, financially stable, mentally sound, physically tough, emotionally mature. All these things play a huge role in who you attract and why that person you get with is who they are. It's not just, oh, I'm the way I am and they have to accept me and they're not good enough. No, you are a direct mirror, reflection of the person you attract. Speaking about people you attract, speaking about the partner you attract, first you have to figure out who you are. And not only does this mean focus on yourself and make sure you're the best version of yourself, it also means figuring out your attachment style. I thought there was someone behind me. And that's either secure, dismissive, fearful, anxious. Making sure you know how you want to be treated. Stepped on a stick. How you react to different people treating you, how you care for people, making sure you know all these things and really investing in the time to learn about the type of attachment style you are will benefit you far more than anything in a relationship almost. So first, you need to figure out what type of attachment style are you? What are attachment styles? That's a whole nother video, first of all. But to go in on a quick note, you have secure. This is where everyone wants to be. This is where you should, where I should, where everyone should strive to be at. It's more of like you're secure as a person you are, and you're okay with someone leaving you. You're okay with someone not leaving you. You're okay with anything because you know who you are. You're the best version of yourself. It's just like, you're secure with yourself. Then you have dismissive. This is a type of attachment style that can really mess with a lot of people. This is mostly the attachment style that, if you know what love bombing is, they're known for love bombing. They go head first into a relationship. All of a sudden they pull out. Then you have the anxious. This is the type of person where you have, usually the women are anxious. You have them asking you, do you love me? Do you really care for me? They're anxious all the time. They're like, is this real? And that can sabotage a relationship because they feel like it's so unreal that they don't want to believe that someone else can care for them. And then lastly, you have the fearful. And this one's kind of the worst, to be honest, because it's a mix of everything. They can jump from being in that dismissive, going headfirst and then pulling back, but they can also be anxious and wonder, do they really care for me? Do they really mean the things that they tell me? That's attachment style summed up in 20 seconds. Okay, so now you know boredom, what causes it, how to solve it, attachment styles, I forgot what else I talked about, to be honest. But let's jump back to the non-negotiables. Why can't a man care more for his woman emotionally? You would think, like, if you care for her, just care for her. No. As a man, you are the rock. You're not a sponge. If you start caring for your girl too much emotionally, you're going to come off as needy. She's going to start feeling like as he needs me, and she's going to feel like she has to step into that masculine role. And that's where she starts looking for somewhere else where she can go other places to fill the masculine urges she needs, because you're not fulfilling it. Being able to stay grounded in your emotions, being able to be that rock, is what will cause your relationship to prosper. All right, I was getting kind of dark, so I had to find some light. But for a woman, that non-negotiable would be disrespect. It's easier for a man to separate love from respect. So you may not realize this, but a man can still quote unquote love you and not respect you. He can still love you and not talk to you again for the rest of his life. Which brings me to my next point, which is a man will very much rather you respect him than love him. So why am I giving you all this information? Well, the world would be a much better place if families stuck together, if the divorce rate in America wasn't 50%, if, look at the statistics in women growing up without a dad in the home and men growing up without a dad in the home. The world would be so much better if families stuck together. There's a lot more to relationships than I've known them since high school. So I hope you took some value out of this video. I want you to leave a comment. I want you to ask a question about relationships or about life. I want you to leave one question that you feel like you don't know the answer to, that you want to know the answer to. And I'll be happy to let you guys know. Because there is a lot I know, probably too much. And the more I can give out, the more fulfilled I feel. The more I impact other people, the more it impacts me. So I want you to leave a question and I'll get back to you. But set this car pass real quick. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My walk's about to end. That's why I'm ending the video. That was kind of a long walk, I'm not gonna lie. You should go on daily walks. It would benefit your health. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. That's all for Talks with Julian. Be out. I just want to add real quick as I eat my oats with honey. If you ever need someone to talk to, if you ever need advice, my DMs are always open. Any of my social medias, I'll put a sticker right here. But yeah, you can always feel free to DM me. Always feel free to talk about anything. Because sometimes I know you feel like you have no one. You feel like no one wants to listen to you. I'll listen to you. And I'll give you some real advice. I won't just tell you things that you need to hear. But yeah. That's it. We out.